Welcome back to Briggs on Books, our international talk show where we talk to authors from all over the world about their book, their process, get a little bit to know the author. And I always buy, when I see an author and I hear them talk and they get me excited, I run out and buy their book. So that's one of the purposes of our show. Also, many of our viewers are authors who are writing a book, but they've never finished writing a book. And hopefully they'll get some inspiration by people who've done it. They set out to do it, and they actually got it done. And we have a guest coming up right now, who did it, not just once or twice, but several times. Our guest is Marie Lee. Welcome, Marie.
Hi, it's great to be with you.
Hey, tell our viewers where you are.
I'm actually in Elkhart, Indiana. I'm a stone's throw from Notre Dame.
Notre Dame University, wow. Does it snow ever where you are?
That's kind of an understatement.
Really?
We get a lot of lake effect off of Lake Michigan.
Lake effect. Because out here we get no snow. Many people around me have never even seen snow, so we like to talk to people about that when they have it. Now, you have several books out. I want to put up the cover of your latest book, and I'm probably going to get the name wrong. Tell us the name of it.
Alyza's hard work pays off.
And tell us a little bit about the backstory, how this book came about.
This story, I was asked by a lady I attend church with if I would be willing to write a book for her granddaughter, who happens to be in cheerleading. She had looked and looked and looked and could not find any books on cheerleading for her little granddaughter. So I took on the project and published it a couple months ago, and the little girl actually received the book the day her team won state finals. So that's the story of the book.
Yeah. Now, is this a chapter book? Is it a small book?
Nope. It's a small children's book. The story is actually about a little girl and her best friend who practice all summer to become good cheerleaders, and what they go through to get on their school cheerleading team, and then how they win their finals.
And there's a happy ending to the true life story and the story in the book.
True.
Yeah. What age is this book for?
6 to 9, roughly.
And by the way, I'm going to pop up on the screen a couple of your other book titles, and then I'm going to ask you a few questions about other things, and I want to come back and talk to you about these books because they're very intriguing. The covers themselves make me want to read your books. So whoever did the covers, they were brilliant.
Well, I actually did them myself.
You did all of them. Wow. Now you weren't an author all your life. You had a regular job. Is that right?
I did. I worked 30 years in human services in state government. I enjoy helping people, but I felt it was finally time for me to move on. And so when I retired, I have always told bedtime stories to my grandchildren, and they wanted me to put some of the stories in a book to remember them now that they're getting older. And I have a sister who's a special ed teacher who encouraged me to write. So I started writing down the stories that I used to tell them, and that's what you see on your screen.
Nice. Now, by the way, as I mentioned in the introduction, we have so many authors or potential prospective authors who watch our show. What I hear from so many of them is, man, if I could just quit working and concentrate on my writing, I could get this thing done. So you kind of did that. You were able to quit, but then you had an income from a retirement, I would imagine.
Correct.
And it frees up your time to write the book. How many books have you published?
I have 12 children's books out, and then I have one book that I wrote as a remembrance book of poetry of a great aunt who I think I get my writing from. And then I wrote 2 inspirational books from my time in working in state government.
Inspirational books. I always like to hear people who have a lot of experience and learn from them. Now, where can people get these books?
My books are on Amazon, or you can go to my website, which is www.marieleebook.com, and there's a link on there that takes you directly to all my books on Amazon.
Yeah. And by the way, for our viewers, I went online. I like to read up on the authors right before the show. I typed Marie Lee, and bam, all these books popped up, so they're very, very easy to find. I'm going to ask you about a couple of them. Oh, this one is just, I say they're intriguing. You look at the cover, Chaser and Gazer.
Yes. This is a story about 2 little polar bears, who are up in the North Pole and decide one day that they're bored of sliding down hills in the snow and take a journey. And at the end of the story, they realize that where they really belong is back in the North Pole, and they return and be with their mom.
What a fun story. And now, again, the one with the lamb on the cover, what is this one called?
It's Lionel the Lamb, Overcoming Your Fears. A few years ago, when my grandson was little, he used to be a little scared of the dark, and I decided to write a book for kids who might have a fear of something and maybe give them a little bit of encouragement on overcoming it. So this is a story about a little lamb who overcomes his fear of the dark to help rescue his friends.
Yeah. And again, I want to return to the cover because this is my favorite cover of all your books. And you created the cover. Did you do the art?
I did.
No. And are you a painter? You're an artist, obviously.
No, actually, I have no background in art. Nowadays, with all the new software that you can use, you can create really colorful and engaging covers on your own.
Wow.
And so that's what I did.
Well, again, that one's just beautiful. Oh, yeah, and this one is just pulls you right in. Is it a ballerina's dream come true?
Correct. This is a story about a little girl whose favorite dream was to visit a fox. It's a special kind of fox that comes from the Saharan desert called the phoenix fox. And it's a story about her family taking her to the zoo and her getting to hold the fox. And she gets home and writes all about it in her journal.
Yeah, that is so fun. And you say about 6 to 9 years old these books are?
Yeah, I have one book that's roughly 5 to 7. It's a panda bear story. It's written for younger readers. Another reason that I write my books is that literacy is very important to me. And when my grandson started reading and going to school, I had a hard time finding books that I really enjoyed for them to read that didn't have content in it that I didn't want. And also would include things that help them learn to read. So in my books, some of them have reading comprehension questions. Nice. Some have sight words, depending on the age. Some include coloring books and writing pages where they can write their own story. My special sister that encouraged me to write, she said that children learn best when they can read it, hear it, and write it. So that's the idea behind my books.
I know that, when I went into kindergarten, I was already reading, and that's because my mom read me books. And we didn't have 1,000 books. We had 2 or 3 books, and she'd read them over and over and over. And I began to recognize the shape of the words and, start reading them. I don't know if I read them or I just had them memorized, but what a great thing for kids to have books. I want to suggest to our viewers, go to... I say Amazon, but go anywhere. Start with marieleebook.com, looking for her books, but don't go and click once and order one. Order like 5 or 10 books. What we did when my kids were small is they had to go to a birthday party every week, and the present they took was a book. And pretty soon all the kids had the same book in the whole class, and they were all reading it and talking about it. It's a fun thing to do. Also, I would send, when my kids were small, I'd send books to my mom, Grandma. So when they went to Grandma's house, there was these books. So don't waste your time ordering one book. Order stacks of them. They're not that expensive, and it's really the best thing you could do for your kids. But yours seem especially wholesome, family style, with a nice message, Marie.
Thank you very much. I also volunteer to read to a local elementary school through the United Way reading program. So I get a lot of my ideas from my books from the kids that I interact with. I always ask them what they like, what they enjoy, what kind of animal characters they relate to. So that's kind of how I get my stories.
And you have more coming up, Marie?
I have a new one that we're just getting ready to put out about puppies and deers.
Puppies and deer. By the way, I bet when you did your first book, you had to go through all these things, figuring out how to get it published and out there. Is the process easier for you now?
It is. Actually, not to plug them, but Amazon has a program called KDP that if you're new as an author or just want to try to get a book together, if you write a manuscript up in a Word document, it doesn't have to be the fancy software. You can download it on there platform, and they'll even help you create a cover for your book.
Nice.
It doesn't cost you anything to produce it. Now, if you order one or buy one, it will, but just to get your book published, you can do it for free on Amazon.
Wow. Then you could order a couple copies if you want.
You can order author's copy, or you can, order a group to sell or give out to family and friends. Absolutely.
And that's KDP at something on Amazon, KDP program.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad we talked to you about this because, like I say, all of our authors are struggling to finish the book. Then what do we do? Where do you go next? So Amazon has really turned into a great resource for a lot of us. Marie, we've gone over time, but you're so fascinating. Your books are fascinating and intriguing. On the pop up one of the covers again, and just say, I want to just give you a moment to say anything you want about you, your books, or a message to our viewers.
Well, I appreciate the time, and I appreciate your highlighting my books. As I said, literacy is important to me, so I also offer to write stories. If a family has a child that wants a book about a certain particular character or animal, if they want to contact me on my website, I'd be glad to try to put a book together for them.
Well, that's great, Marie. That'd be fun to write a book for people, just like you did the cheerleader book.
Correct.
And for our viewers, go look up Marie Lee. If you got kids, you got grandkids, you got nieces, nephews, start getting them books. And like I say, don't order one, order a stack. And I sure appreciate you taking the time out, Marie Lee. And for our viewers, don't go anywhere because we'll be right back with another author right after this. Thanks, Marie. That was perfect.
Thank you so much.
And
will I be able to watch this somehow, or?
Yeah, my crew will send you some information.
Oh, okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, talk to you next time.
Bye-bye.